Thank you, Vin, and good morning. I'd like to start out by saying this has been a long process, and we have done this a little different than the way the House, the legislature up here has done that. And Holly and I have worked in concert to put forward a Ways and Means budget that takes into consideration the revenue and the spending so that we ensure we are under the caps, both revenue cap and spending cap, and we are definitely staying within the nature and the intent of the guardrails, which is very important because for Connecticut to continue to be successful and to grow even more, we have put these things in place to help us and to guide us to do that. So in doing so, the spending side of our package definitely reflects the priorities that we have as a caucus. First and foremost, our number one bullet on this is education. It is the state of Connecticut's constitutional obligation to provide a free and public education for every child in the state. And we have woefully underfunded education in the past years here. So what we're doing is $290 million over the governor's proposal and about $140 million over the appropriations proposal, where we are looking at higher funding of ECS. We're looking at very importantly, we've seen a huge uptick in the amount of children who are diagnosed as special needs, and that's causing a massive increase in our taxes at our local levels. So this is going to help property tax from the perspective of us funding more of the education on the state of Connecticut's side of the ledger. And in doing so, we are going to, for the first time, fully fund the excess cost grant at 100%, which has not been done before, and the towns are pleading for it. We're also focusing in on domestic violence efforts and expanding not only GPS for domestic violence victims, but we're also looking at fully funding our VOCA costs to help for our for the domestic violence on that also. We are looking at increasing aid to the homeless population at about $10 million over the 2 years. We're also looking at increasing the amount of support we're given to nonprofits to a 2.5% increase for both years. That's a big thing that we've been hearing about, and we have to make sure that we're fully funding or funding as much as we can for the nonprofits. We're also looking at an upcoming issue that's been happening in various parts of the state regarding well contamination, and we're putting in money for PFAS also. So we're covering the environment, we're covering homeless, we're covering the nonprofits, education, public safety. We're doing a lot here. And as Representative Candelara said, the key with our higher ed spending and our transportation is we have got to make sure we are addressing the root cause. We can continue to fund these things at high subsidies, but if we do not correct the root cause of why it is so expensive to go to college in the state of Connecticut, as much subsidization that we can do is not going to help the root cause. It's not going to help student loans. It's not going to help our youth that are young adults that are coming out of college with massive debt. We have to attack the root issue. So by putting these plans in place, we're asking them to be part of the solution and help us find a sustainable and implementable plan that is going to bring down the cost of education, because we really need to focus in funding in on our younger children and making sure they have the best education possible. And this budget that's before you today will do that. Education is our priority, tax relief is our priority, our seniors are our priority, and this budget reflects that across the path in a Ways and Means way between tax relief and spending. Thank you.